Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. And guys, it's a little different tonight.
It's heavy.
Very heavy. Normally, listeners to the show know we look back at a classic album and present some unsigned bands for everyone to dig into. But this week, we were faced with the news just this afternoon.
Just today,
passing.
Hours ago.
Yeah, the passing of Eddie Van Halen. And so what we're going to do is a little tribute show, best that we can, to Eddie and the band itself. So,
putting my notes away, folks. This is about Edward.
Yeah, we'll fly off the cuff tonight. So,
yeah, no.
Eddie has battled cancer for years. First with tongue cancer, and then from there, he tried different cures. I guess he had a part of his tongue cut out and the whole bit. And
he did. Had it removed.
Yeah. And then most recently, the throat cancer. Eddie was a smoker. And that was till the end. We know that.
Yep.
But the reports I saw today, I guess the cancer had moved to other parts of his body to where he just couldn't function. He finally succumbed to it. So we were all of that age that Eddie was and is a big part of our lives.
We were teenagers, folks. Yeah, teenagers when Van Halen debuted. Yeah.
And
Sorry,
no, not at all. So, Jim, why don't you kind of start us off when you first got into the whole Van Halen mode?
Sure.
Go around robbing like that.
Sure. So, and I'm sure I told this story in episode 1 where we talked about the first Van Halen record. It was a very first album we revisited. And so I bought the album, didn't know who they were. I had seen somebody at school wearing a Van Halen t-shirt. And I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was either like Robert Hill or Dwayne Van Hooydonk, one of those guys, right?
I want to say Nick LaCapria.
No, I don't think it was.
Maybe.
Nick.
No? Okay.
No.
Oh, that was Blondie. Excuse me.
Anyway, so I thought, I'm going to go find out about this band, right? And so ran out to Music Plus, went over to my uncle's house, threw it on the turntable, track 1, side 1, Running with the Devil. And I was like, oh, I've heard this on the radio. I recognize this song. Didn't know who it was, right? Used to play stuff all the time. Never see who the stupid bands were, right?
Yeah.
And I was all like, yeah, this is great. Loved the guitar tone, everything about it. And then Eruption. And and that's pretty much what it was. And I remember just sitting there listening. I don't even think I was sitting. I was standing up listening. And I just remember smiling so big. And he got to the two-handed part. And I'm listening to that and I'm going...
Trying to figure that out.
I'm like, I don't think that's physically possible. I'm like, that's like 2 guitars. He's overdubbed.
Or 3. Yeah.
He's overdubbed something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't think that's real. But from that moment, I was like a Van Halen fan, man. The whole album, that whole first album is just so
lights
good.
Out. It's lights out, guys.
It's
That's funny.
So good. And I mean, the level of songwriting is so good. The vocal arrangements.
Right.
It's just so well done for a debut record. I mean, it's just really hard to beat. And I mean, we've already talked about it, but and then it was just anticipating the next Van Halen 2, right?
Couldn't wait. And I like as Jim said, Frank, if I may, I remember the first time I heard it, and I can tell you guys right where I was at. I was with Ronnie Jazarski and Ingo Wittig in his Nova, heading north on Vincent at the 10. When I heard You Really Got Me go into Eruption. And I remember, Jaime, just like you just said, I know that's guitar, but it's silly. Something's funny here. I know that's a guitar sound, but something ain't right.
Yeah.
And that's goosebumpy. I think freshmen. Were we freshmen, guys?
Sophomores.
Sophomores? Okay. I just
I think
remember
so.
hearing that going, I know that's a guitar sound, but I don't know what he's doing. Like
Yeah.
you, Jim. He must be 10 guys playing that.
78.
Yeah.
78.
So I wanna say it was sophomore year, maybe late freshman year, but
I have to, looking back, I think the first song I heard was Jamie's Crying.
oh,
And I just remember the vocals. Dave was what drew me in first. And I thought, oh, this band's going to be hot. They're going to be good. And then later on, when I heard Eruption for the first time, I don't know.
Oh.
I think I was reading today the whole advent of the air guitar came with Joe Cocker with his crazy movements when he sang. But it didn't come into real play until Eddie. Every kid that you can't tell me, every kid that put that record on did an air guitar Eruption on their tennis racket, on a golf club, whatever. But to try to, in your mind, figure out how is that tapping going on, and remember reading the interviews with Eddie, he was so shy and he didn't want anybody to steal his licks, so he would turn his back to the crowd when he would do the finger tapping.
at the behest of his brother,
Yeah.
who told him like you got to turn around because all those
Don't
guitar
let him
players
see.
out there are all gonna rip you off, brother.
Yep. But from running with the devil with those car batteries, just unbelievable. We played it at the dairy so loud that the whole neighborhood heard it.
Yeah.
And what was neat to me is I remember cars would drive up, friends and teenagers or whatever, and the first time they came driving up and they were blasting Van Halen, even though we felt like, hey, we discovered this is our band.
That's our band. What are you doing?
You instantly became everybody's band because they were so huge.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You couldn't live in Southern California, but help us share this band.
Yeah.
And like you say, Jim, you waited for what's next. What could they possibly do?
Couldn't wait
next?
for the next album.
Yeah.
Greg L.
Well,
and I and you, Frank. Yeah. Could not wait for the next album.
Yeah.
They were a San Gabriel Valley band.
Yes.
And I remember when you drove down the 210, when you got right just like East Pasadena there, somebody had spray painted a huge VH.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, on the side of the wall, and it was there for ages. So whenever we would be going down the 210, we'd always look for that.
Look for it.
Always look for that big spray painted VH that was on the deal there, and that was, I mean, it was there from when that first album came out, maybe even before the first album came out. But and the beauty of it was everybody knew somebody who kind of knew them.
Right.
Everybody had either played a show with them or had seen them at a party or whatever.
Yep.
And it kind of made you proud to be kind of from LA, right? It was
Well, that was
home of Van Halen, baby.
Yes. Yeah. No, and Jerry and I were fortunate enough after they toured with Black Sabbath. When that tour was over, we've told this story before. One of the milk delivery drivers knew Mike, went to school with Mike Anthony.
Jeff H.
Yep, yeah. Jeff, and had him. He brought Michael in to meet us, or us meet him. And we were on cloud nine. That was a big deal to us because here it's a bass player from Van Halen, and he was just ripping on Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And
we
blew him off the stage. Yep. But and after that, me and Greg started getting tickets every year to go see him at the Forum. And you couldn't help but what's Eddie going to do next?
Oh, it was I think the first time I saw him was Fair Warning tour.
Mm-hmm.
Lovey and I, it was
something else.
Yeah.
Jim, if you can think of a song right off the top of your head, a solo or a part of a song that comes to mind, what would you think of?
On that first album or just in general?
Any album in general.
Eruption.
Yeah.
I mean, that was I was like his signature, right?
Hmm. Is it odd to you that as well, as 1978 till now, you can get on YouTube and see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids playing it flawlessly?
Yeah.
So I played it for my son today. My son is 12. I'm sorry, my son's 13.
Hmm.
Lose track. You have as many kids as I got.
Yeah.
My son's
No
13. So
comment. I was gonna
I
say you were
played that
there.
for him today, and I explained to him, like, what was kind of going on in the solo, and how it was groundbreaking and revolutionary and everything else. And so, like, as soon as it ends, it gives you all these potential ones you can. So eighth
Hmm.
grader plays Eruption, right?
Right.
And so he clicks on that, and I said, well, here's the difference.
Right.
He learned that, he didn't write it.
Yep.
Right. So anybody can sit down with the tab, and if you spend a long enough time, you'll probably get it. But that kid made a good attempt, but it was not a note for no recreation of
Well,
Eruption by any
do you remember?
stretch of the imagination, right?
Do you remember Ted Nugent saying? I don't know if it was one of the festivals or whatever. They played with Van Halen and Ted Nugent were on the same bill, and goes backstage and he wants to play this magic guitar because he can't believe it. Ted can't believe what's coming out of this guitar.
Yeah, something's
Right.
fake. Yeah,
Yeah,
something ain't right.
he grabbed Eddie's guitar and he starts jamming on it, and Eddie said, "Knock yourself out." And he's playing, and he says, "I sound like Ted freaking Nugent." He said, "What the hell, man?"
Right.
Eddie grabs it, and it's a whole nother story. And he had
Right.
that feel. He had a feel, and now we have bands that play a gazillion notes a minute, no feel, and
Yeah.
flawlessly at that.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
But-
Right. It's a machine. It's a
Yeah.
machine.
And that's
You type in notes and it's a machine.
to
yeah.
me that's what Eddie did. Is he every note he played, he reached into your soul and you felt it. You couldn't wait for another solo from Eddie.
And endured a lot of bitterness from other players.
Oh yeah.
He talked early on about them playing with Van Halen somewhere, or with with Aerosmith somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, I reached out to shake Joe Perry's hand. He said he wouldn't even shake my hand. He just glared at me,
Wow.
Well, yeah.
and it was just like, well, what the heck, and. He idolized Eric Clapton, who
Right.
just kind of ripped him up one side and down the other.
Clapton did?
Yeah,
Well, see,
Richie Blackmore didn't have any
right.
good things to say
Blackmore
about
doesn't
him
like
either.
anybody. Blackmore doesn't like anybody
No.
that plays a guitar. He doesn't
And-
even like me, and I don't play.
And their era, their era was, what they said they played with feeling, and Eddie didn't play with
Right.
feeling. Later on, I think they all changed their minds when you
Took
realize
a while, guys. Yeah.
that probably one of the nicest guys in the music business.
Yep.
I want to play something for you guys, and we'll talk about this because it's a little different than what we always expected. Wow. You just
No.
never knew
Yeah.
what was coming next.
No. Can't touch it.
It's so versatile.
I want to talk about this song a little bit
Okay.
because two reasons, maybe three. I don't know. One of my absolute all-time favorite Van Halen songs because for me, there's songs I'll listen to sometimes that they make me feel like I'm moving.
Mhm.
Like there's some kind of motion involved. And that was one of the first songs I can remember hearing where I felt that, where I had like a real physical sort of reaction to the song.
Right.
And you played the ending of the song, and what I wanted to bring up about that song is like that ending is like coming to the end of an awesome gymnastics routine, and he just sticks that ending.
Sticks it.
That's
Yep.
it was like the perfect ending to that song.
Yes.
I mean, and he just, dang.
Yeah.
So now
Nailed
the
it.
other reason I want to talk about this song is, so when that album came out, our friend Jerry was a drummer, and I was over at his house, and he had learned that song, and so he's got the door to the garage open, and he throws on. I'm saying like, well, play little guitars, play the drums to that. So like, he throws the record on, and he's in there just going away at the drums, and his neighbor comes. I don't know if it's across the street neighbor, whatever. She comes over and starts yelling at him. Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Turn that down. Jerry's all, what the hell's your problem, lady? And she's like, how dare you blast this out across the whole neighborhood? And so she's just reading him the riot act, and he's like, it's the middle of the freaking day, man. Shut up, go home. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning, man. It's not like it's 4 a.m. He's all, get out of here. He's all yelling at her. I'm like, wow, man, his neighborhood's crazy.
They're rough.
No, that's the old German lady across the street, Mrs. Wittig. And the follow-up, Jaime, that you weren't there at is Mrs. Berdio.
That's not Ingo's mom, is it?
Ingo's mom.
Son of a gun.
What?
But the topper to that, Jaime and Frank, is my other old lady neighbor, I shouldn't say, well, Mrs. Berdio, Rose Berdio, who lived on my side of the street, 2 houses up across from Mrs. Wittig. She came down, I don't know if it's the same day or some others, and she goes, you know what, Jerry? I just love it when you play those drums. Who cares what anybody says? You play those drums, Jerry. I like them. And that was Mrs. Berdio. Yeah, that was Ingo's mom.
He's telling Ingo's mom, go back home. Get out of here.
Well, at the time, I don't even know if, how tight Ingo and I were then. I know we pretty much were once they moved in. But I forgot about that, Jaime. That's funny. As soon as you said it, I remember Mrs. Berdio. I love it, Jerry. You play those drums. I love it. And it gave me a lot of,
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. He was spot on. I mean, he wasn't cocking it up at all. I mean, he was right on it. So,
I could do it back then.
Kudos to you, brother.
I have a question for you, Jerry.
Yeah.
Who was the kid that came over to your house that swore to us up and down he could play Van Halen note for note? And I came over with my bass. You had the drums at that time. And I said, I know Jamie's crying. It's easy enough. I can do the bass part for that. And I start playing it, and you're playing the drum part and the whole bit. And he comes in, and he plays the chords off the songbook. And that's all he knew. And he swore that's how it went. Do you remember that guy? Do you remember that kid? He was a strange fellow.
I want to say, and bless his heart, we used to jam before. I want to say Robert Levin.
Oh, really?
That might have been him.
Off of Cienega and Ives Crest.
Okay.
Something over. I want to say that.
I could see that.
But
that was our.
It has to be him, Frank. Sorry to interrupt. It has to be him, Frank, because I can't. Nobody else. My brother played bass. We'd fool around once in a while, but nobody else came over. In other words, with a guitar to play. So
was he a little bit odd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark hair, freckles.
All I remember is at school.
Robert.
Yeah, him telling me, "Oh yeah,
Jim."
I could play Van Halen. I got it note for note. Don't worry. I said, you sure? I said, don't be wasting our time. Oh, no. And I said, all right.
I want to say that. I don't know. It could be wrong. If I'm wrong, Robert Levin, yeah, check
Could
me.
be.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
a funny time.
I mean,
don't know.
thanks for the props. I have not brought up my drumming on one conspiracy podcast. Thank you, Jaime. Thank
That
you,
was
Frank.
great.
Yes.
It sounded so
Oh,
good.
It was fun.
I could do it. I could do it, guys. My dad and mom let get me free reign in the garage, took one of the cars out, had the record player behind me, Jaime. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I'd turn around on my phone.
Put it on.
Put it on, put my headphones on, and then go.
Yeah.
And, bless your heart, guys. Yeah. Oh, was that good? Mrs. Wittig was the one that.
That's great.
complained.
I just remember coming over and trying to read Jerry the Riot Act. And
What are you doing? What
Go
are you
home!
doing?
Get out of here!
Don't you know it's quiet here?
It's
What are you
quiet here.
doing?
Wasn't that
And then
quiet?
but the topper was Mrs. Birdio. I love it, Jerry. It doesn't matter what she says. You play those drums, Jerry.
That's funny.
Oh.
She probably went back to the house, was pounding them down. So
No. Mrs. Birdio is good people. Straight laced, good people. Yeah.
let me
Good
play one of
people.
my favorite tunes, at least a solo portion of it, and you guys will know it right away. Something about those solos, they're instant identifiable. You know right away who it is.
Yep.
And I remember for a while I soured on Van Halen for a minute because I thought too many of the solos were sounding alike.
They all sound the same. It's beautiful, Frank. Beautiful to address that.
But they fit.
They weren't, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't. That was just it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just his style was so identifiable that,
And his sound.
his sound, yeah. Up until the change of singers, and I think he changed amps and different things because with when Sammy came on board, definitely a different sound, guitar sound, really different sound with Gary Cherone, in my opinion, and not a bad switch,
No, different.
but different.
I gotta be in a certain mood for Van Halen 3, guys.
Yeah,
Literally,
well-
I got to. Yeah.
But
it's beautiful.
he always called it the Brown sound.
The brown sound, yeah.
Yep. And you couldn't copy it if you wanted to. I'll tell you a story. I told you guys about this right here. This single is "Jump," and the backside, the side B was
of 84.
Yep. The side 2 was House of Pain. But I got to tell you a story. Went to Music Plus, and they were just getting ready to close, and I said, "Hey, you guys got the new Van Halen single?" And the kid says, man at that time, he said, "Hey, it doesn't come out till tomorrow. We're putting it out tomorrow." I said, "All right." So I went up and down. This is the one on Alasta. Up and down the aisles, and towards the back there was a door that went to the back, and the door was open. And I looked down.
No, Frank, you didn't.
There was a box of 45s. I took one for myself and one for Greg LeBay.
And one for my homie.
and
No, Frank,
made a
you
beeline
did?
out of the store. Yeah.
Did you go out the back door?
Out the front door. I walked straight out the front door.
Back door probably had an alarm, Jaime. Frank's not stupid. Yeah.
Still wrinkled from where it was, shoved down my pants and whatnot. But I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. Yeah. So
Funny.
forgive me for my theft. But I
Sorry,
drove
Plus guy. Yeah.
drove straight. I put him out of business. I drove straight to Laverne and gave Greg his copy.
Oh yeah.
But
Funny.
Greg's got to have his Van Halen.
Yeah.
Before all of us, I'd say. I'd venture to.
I think he was into.
Greg had no idea his copy had been down Frank's pants, though.
Yeah, maybe he did. You don't know.
I wouldn't care either. I wouldn't care either.
I just couldn't wait. You know, I wanted it. I wanted it now. That's all there was to it. It was worth
Frank,
it.
I had no idea you were.
Yeah.
Well,
So
wow.
that was my big Van Halen heist story there. No? It was way
I still
before-
remember.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I still remember Greg's pictures after the concert
Yes.
from the camera, cheap Kodak, whatever, one shot, whatever they were called back in those days. It was by that time, folks, in Conspiracy Land, it was like, you know, early 80s, late 70s, and cameras had gotten smaller, so you could put one in your pocket.
We
And
each
I
had a
remember
110.
I remember those. Thank you for that, Frank. I was
Yeah.
struggling to think of, but I remember those pictures and Greg was just on cloud 9,
Yep.
10, and 11. And just, you know, folks, we're 16, 17, and here's pictures from the concert. Oh,
Yeah.
My friend and his wife went and saw Van Halen. She was pregnant at the time, so she was able to hide the camera underneath her belly, I think.
oh, there you
Yep.
go. Nobody's gonna frisk you there. Yeah.
I
Who's
had
gonna touch a pregnant lady? Come on.
Nobody.
I had a long, skinny Kodak 110 camera. Took the
Right.
cartridge,
The little flat ones. Yeah.
shoved it down my pants as far as I could. Greg threw his camera down there, and he said, you know, he's like, just don't look guilty. Don't make any eye contact. Just, you know. And they're busting people left and right with beer and all kinds of other stuff. And this is at the Forum, you know. And I'm thinking, oh, we're not gonna see the show.
We're done. We're done.
And they look at us and like, go on in. Don't pat us down, nothing. And here I am walking like I got a camera up my butt, you know, and right into the bathroom, pulled it out, put it in the pocket. We were second row, third row or something. And Greg would run all around. Greg didn't care. He was, if he wanted a shot, he would run
Greg
in front of
was the
people and take a
man.
picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg was.
Yeah.
Greg
I wasn't
was
going to do that.
Good
Greg
for
was taking
him.
No prisoners. Yeah. Oh,
I took all
Greg
my
was taking
pictures
no
from my
prisoners.
seat, and I have about 12 pictures of a guy looking sideways with a big hook nose, smiling ear to ear at his date. And that was the pictures that I got because he was in the way. It's like, all right, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we had a blast. We went 2 or 3 years in a row, and we go right down to, he would run down to West Covina, or even maybe just Covina, front row center, and he'd put money down for tickets.
Oh, right.
For the next year.
Right.
Right there on Citrus.
Citrus.
Right?
Yeah.
Citrus.
So he would put a deposit down, and the next year when they came out, he got us good seats, and we saved up the whole year so we could pay for these.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, it was a whole $80 for a second row seat or something.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
No,
That'd get you the nosebleed now.
if that, yeah,
If you get in the door.
yeah. Let's take a listen to something else here.
Some friends of mine just the other night went to hear this cool cat blow. They said he sang so good that the roof fell in and he didn't even stop the show. They don't remember the place, but they remember the face, and now everybody wanna go. Woo! Top Jimmy cooks, Top Jimmy swings. He's got the love. Woo! Top Jimmy, he's the king.
The reason I played that, there's a good example of Eddie playing clean, but yet sounding so crunchy and good, because he's finger picking like crazy on that song.
Yeah.
I don't know, just another style that blew me away.
I never understood the infatuation with Top Jimmy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm not talking about the song. I'm talking about the guy. I saw him live at Pookie's
Oh,
in
I
Pasadena.
didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, they were good, but I don't know. I guess it just wasn't my thing, right?
I might still have a BAM or two out in the garage with Top Jimmy on the bill. And
Oh, I'm
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a person, guy,
Yeah.
or a band.
Top Jimmy and the Rhythm Pigs.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
The only reason I saw him is because I went there to see the opening band, and we stuck around and watched Top Jimmy, and those guys like to drink and fight. It was they were a little aggressive.
That's funny. There's another favorite of Jim's. Let's try this out.
You're gonna hear the angels singing. You're gonna hear the angels sing. They'll sing.
Great bass.
Oh yeah. Oh, the
Unique
backing
song.
vocals.
Yeah, the arrangements on the vocals and everything on that song.
Yeah.
And just from the intro, which is so different. I mean, the intro's not even that long,
Right.
right? But then it just kicks in.
I love that snare at the intro. Like,
I love that you
like
could
the
finally hear
marching band
Michael
or
Anthony on a record.
Yeah.
finally,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, he's all over the place.
Yes.
You know, he didn't play a lot of your standard bass lines on some of these songs. Like you say, he had to
in
keep it
support.
contained so Eddie can do all
Yeah.
his crazy solo stuff.
Right.
But on some of these fills and different things, he's all over the place. Sounds great.
Oh, yeah.
He's an
Yeah.
accompaniment. Just
Yeah.
good stuff. What did you take on the later years when Eddie said he had to tell Michael what to play? Do you believe that?
No. And I tell you why, guys. Just give me 2 seconds. I just saw Chickenfoot live, whatever, maybe recorded 2 years ago, and there's no way Michael Anthony is a slouch on the bass.
Right.
Now, maybe he said play it like this or whatever, but I remember that question, Frank, and I thought, well, I don't know. And watch Chickenfoot live. Michael Anthony is a stud on the bass.
He is.
as
Just
a
finger picking.
as a bass player, I can tell you guitarists love to make suggestions about what you should be playing.
Right. You got to leave gaps
Now-
for them.
Right, but especially if they wrote the song.
Right.
Right,
I'll
so they
give you
might
that.
have something in mind. Eddie wrote all the songs. I mean, everybody got credit on the records, but Eddie wrote all the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I going with this? I had one guy tell me, he's all, Eddie plays the bass on those records. And I was all like, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to give me something more than just
Yeah.
you saying it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I need
So
video
here's-
footage.
But here's an
Right.
interesting thing. So like you listen to the first Van Halen album, the bass parts are very, very simple,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
right? Okay, so when David Lee Roth left Van Halen, Ted Templeman continued producing him,
Right.
right? So Dave gets Billy Sheehan to play bass, right?
Well,
Billy's
Van
not a guy
Halen on
who's-
bass.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, Billy's not that kind of player. Billy's all over the place, right?
Right.
Yep.
But listen to the second album when they start moving on.
Mm-hmm.
The reason Billy left is because Dave and Ted would tell him like, no, just play that one note.
Right.
And I think that was just kind of their way. They wanted this really simple bass part all the way through, and that was the reason for Billy leaving Dave,
Right.
because he said this isn't what I do, right?
Too simple for him,
And
basically.
You got
yeah.
me. You got me in the band because of what I do, and now you want me to do something completely different.
Right.
You're trying to put me in a box, and
Right.
I need to have the freedom to just kind of create musically, and you're not allowing me to do that.
Right.
So I think a lot of that stuff was Ted basically saying like, no, Mike, just play that one
There it
note.
is. Yeah.
Dude, stop complicating things.
Well, the
Billy.
name was Van Halen. It wasn't
Right.
Michael Anthony. You know, so they wanted to make sure that the guitar shined, and Eddie didn't need any
But
help.
it was going to do that anyway.
It was, but you know,
Oh yeah.
when you're the producer, you get to say in that.
Well,
So
did their first 5, so
yeah.
I watched the live video of Dance the Night Away today,
Mm-hmm.
right? But Mike's all over the place in that
Yep.
song. I don't know that it was so much on the record, but live, he was all over the place.
And another good song live is "So This Is Love."
So this is love, same thing.
Crazy bass beat pounding and the drum beat going on there, and Mike can play. There's no doubt about it.
Well, even if Eddie actually wrote the parts or whatever,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. He had to be
That's
able to
fine.
execute them.
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, you got to execute. Yep.
Jerry, you mentioned the circle, and with that I bring
Chicken
up
foot.
Chicken Foot.
Yeah.
With that I bring up Sammy Hagar. Now you guys know how I feel about Van Hagar. Was not my era that I cared for.
You and I are on the same bus.
Yeah.
I love
But-
it, guys. You know,
Yeah.
you know why? Because I get to hear Eddie.
Yeah. Well, and the word love comes up an awful lot. That's always been our joke.
Well,
Yeah.
You know. But
To me, it's the 5150 Summer Nights. Oh,
But when you throw in Sammy playing some guitar and Eddie as well, the dynamic changed just a little bit.
Tell me why can't this be love?
Now you might get some Bozy Bozy Bop from David Lee Roth, but you're not going to get some scatting like Sammy Hagar did there. But it was a different band. It
Yeah, it
was
was a different band.
well done, Dragato. You say, fucker.
But I also
Well
think
done.
I also think it allowed
Frank.
I think it allowed Ed to expand. I think it
Yeah.
allowed him to do things musically that he couldn't do with Dave.
right.
You're right.
Well,
plus
and that was the
Eddie
whole
can
thing.
Play guitar. You know, I mean, yeah. Go ahead. No.
One of the big reasons Dave left is Eddie wanted to go and play keyboards more and
Yeah.
do more of the pop variety. You know, he wanted to expand.
I was listening to a thing the other day. He was talking about Diver Down,
Hmm.
and the keyboard part that ended up in Dancing in the Street was a completely different song.
Right.
And he said, I envisioned it kind of like a Peter Gabriel song,
Isn't that weird?
which, yeah, because that's not a Peter Gabriel kind of band.
No.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's a very different thing. And I think Ed didn't want to keep doing Van Halen 1 and 2 over and over again.
Right.
No.
I did. I think most
Yeah,
fans
well, yeah.
did.
I think
You know.
all of us, yeah.
But you know what's odd is Eddie often said all the songs that he wrote, he didn't write with any lyrics in mind. He wrote musical pieces and then handed them over to Dave, and Dave put lyrics to his completed songs.
Yeah.
You know, and
Like Elton John and Bernie Taupin.
yeah,
Same thing. Elton just wrote music.
you either have a knack for it or you don't, because
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you guys, as you know, me trying to play music and record my own stuff, if I write lyrics first, the music comes really easy. If I write music first, I can't fit lyrics to it 99% of the time. I don't know. It's hard for me.
What comes to you first, Frank? Words?
Normally, it's the lyrics. It's something
Okay.
will pop in my head, and it takes a good song will take a half hour to write the lyrics, literally.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if I do
because you're writing around a concept.
a concept,
your overall
and
concept.
I get a melody in my head, which because of my musical limitations, I cannot make that melody in my head come out on the fingers on my guitar. So it always morphs into something different,
Right.
Sure.
you know. But yeah, Eddie never wrote music with Dave's voice in mind. I don't think.
Who did?
You know, it's pretty neat that they, after all those years, they came out with their last album, and it was all old
Different
songs
kind
basically.
of truth. Different kind of truth. 2012, and I
Mhm.
love it.
I
love
really
it.
enjoy that album too.
Same here. Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. But did we play Full Bug yet?
We have not played.
I think you
Full Bug
touched. I thought he touched it. No.
Oh, wait,
you
did
know
we?
what? If you have it in your stack, Frank, I would really like Amsterdam.
I didn't. No, I just pulled up this stuff right here. Let's give this a listen.
Well, then do Full Bug. Yeah.
Yep.
Understand? All I want to give you one more. The best part of a man. Yeah. Love that one, heart and soul in the groove on the go.
Yeah.
Those guys rocked hard. You know that?
Oh, that was.
only tour I saw them on was Diver Down,
Really?
and they played the Full Bug, and
Mhm.
it was absolutely a rave up. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Did they open with
Good
that?
way
I
to-
don't remember. Seems like it was one of those songs that came along and
No, it was towards the end of the set,
Was
I
it?
believe.
Yeah.
They always opened up with. I'm trying to think. I saw Fair Warning tour, and then the Different Kind of Truth tour
Mhm.
when they had Kool and the Gang open up for them.
Yeah. I saw that one at the
It
Forum.
was still them. Yeah, it was still them.
Yeah. No, they were an awesome live band.
Yeah.
It just you know,
Absolutely.
to see Eddie run around and do the Eddie split and the whole bit, and if he's missing any notes, you sure didn't see it or
No,
hear it.
man. Dude didn't. Dude could wake up out of bed and
Yeah.
pull eruption off before a copy. You know.
Interesting you say that. I was just talking to Leslie today. So Eddie used to play Charvel guitars,
Hmm.
and Grover Jackson ran the shop out of San Dimas. And one time I was there, and Grover was telling me like about Eddie coming in. He says, "Well, the first thing Eddie always does when he walks in is he goes straight to the fridge and looks to see how much beer's in there. He never brings any, right? But
Of course, you don't have to at that point.
first thing he does is starts drinking. But he said like it didn't matter. Like he could have one beer, he could have 8 beers. It didn't affect his playing like
Right.
at all.
That's something
And
else.
he was no different than when he walked in the door than when he walked out of the door. But I'm assuming it's because he had already had several beers before he showed up.
Right.
Right.
Could be that. Or
One of
pick
the
me up, who knows? Yeah.
most amazing things to me after seeing a bunch of the other musicians who gave their little spiels and tributes and whatnot on social media.
They
You
all
have
came out. Yeah.
You have a guy with so much talent, and he was, you know, the guy to beat. And he was the most humble individual you ever met in your life. You know, you never heard, other than, you know, with Dave and Sammy, you never heard a bad
No
word.
bad word. Yeah.
No, he was just one of the nicest down to earth guys. And I told you the story when I ran into him at UCLA Medical Center.
Yes.
What a
If you could only
dumbass.
take that back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What
Yeah.
was it?
Oh, yeah. Me and my mom were visiting my dad, who had cancer at the time. We're at UCLA Medical Center, and get in the elevator. We're going downstairs, and door opens up, and in walks Eddie Van Halen. And I looked over at my mom, and she looked at me, and I picked my chin up off the floor, And
Hell yeah.
all I could muster up to say is, boy, I really like the band better with Dave in it than Sammy.
I'm sure
And
that's just what he wanted to hear.
he just kind of shrugged
Right.
his shoulders like, yeah, okay. And I
Thanks,
remember
buddy.
he gets off the elevator. My mom looks at me. My mom was the coolest individual I ever met in my life. And she says,
Yeah.
really? That's the only thing you could think of to say? Oh, shit, you blew that one. But yeah, that was
Right, but in his head, he's thinking like, yeah, but you don't have to live with Dave. You
Right.
don't have to work with Dave,
Right.
right?
yeah.
Right.
My
Yeah.
sanity is
Right.
worth something, Mr. Dragato.
That's it.
I think it was probably more punk ass kid. What do you think? What do you know?
No, that's that was
They
a
probably
change.
sold a lot more records with Sammy than
A
they ever
Didn't they
zillion
have
more.
their first? Yeah, didn't they have their first #1 with Sammy?
I
Or
believe
is that-
so.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yep.
I think they sold a
Yep.
lot more albums with Sammy, but they came along in the MTV era. They had you know, they were selling concerts out all over the place.
Yeah.
I say it just wasn't the same band to me.
No,
I
Was it-
still
was
watch
two,
live. No.
two biggest selling Van Halen records were Van Halen 1 and 5150.
Yeah,
Really, Jaime? Really?
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not.
Oh,
I think I've
I
got
have 'em all,
5150.
folks. Yeah, I got them all. I got
Do
everything.
you?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I still watch my DVD. I got Live Without a Net, and right here, right now. So
I think Balance is the only thing I don't own.
I got
And that's
that.
hard to come by on vinyl. That's a tough one.
I think Balance, is that the one with my Amsterdam on it?
It might be. That's one of the
I just love that tune.
two kids on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, the twins.
I don't think you can find that on vinyl very easily.
Yep, Amsterdam. Yep.
Yeah. No, I was looking through my records today, and I have For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, and I have
Yep.
5150,
Yeah.
Yep.
and that was it for the Sammy era. And I think I got those by mistake. I don't even know.
No, OU812.
I've got that on CD,
Yeah, I've got that on.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking vinyl. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
right. You said that. Yeah.
but
I may have 5150 on vinyl, but I think everything else I've got.
and I can
CD.
honestly say I've never heard or seen Live Without a Net.
Me either.
It's great.
Strangely.
Is it?
It's great. It's great. And right here, right now, after that. So,
Yeah.
you know, Live Without a Net is probably 80, whatever. I'm not going to try.
Mhm.
But it's just great fun. It's great fun. You get Sammy and Eddie are just brand new in their relationship, and you can just see it's great fun. It's
Right.
great fun. And of course, Eddie's all over the joint. You know, no big deal. And then right here, right now is a little darker or more brown, as you say, Frank. To me,
Brown sound, yeah.
you could just see something settling in. They're
Mhm.
not the same as Live Without a Net. They're
Right.
somebody's mad, something's going on, something's behind, but it's still good.
Yeah.
So, you know.
One of their big songs. I just remember seeing Eddie play that part live and smacking the fretboard throughout
Yeah.
that whole part, and thinking I can do that. I
Sure.
can do that. And so
Yeah.
I'd go home the next day, plug in my guitar, and I'd smack my fretboard, and it make a thud. And no, I guess I can't. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
not the
playing
same.
those chromatics, that's
Yeah.
pre the edge right there.
Yes, it is.
Oh, good point, Jaime.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Love it.
Or maybe roughly about the same time.
it was two different worlds, that's for sure.
Yeah.
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 Well, guys, I don't know. It is like a punch in the gut today,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and you said it best when you said that earlier, Jerry, because I was
That's
actually
what it was.
okay
Yeah.
until I saw, like I said, Dave's Instagram post, and it was just a beautiful picture of him and Eddie. Eddie was lighting a cigarette for Dave, and Dave said something like,
Oh, I
you know,
saw
what?
that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
what a-
somebody else shared that picture.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that, Frank. Yes.
Ronnie Barnett shared that picture.
Okay.
That's probably it.
It basically just said what a long, great ride it's been, you know, and that's when it hit me. It's like, he's gone. It's unbelievable that our guitar hero of our era,
Yep.
you know, and
Yep.
it wasn't a drug overdose. It wasn't, a
Nope.
plane crash.
Right.
It was cancer,
40
and
years.
he 9
40
years
years
older
change,
than us,
yeah.
guys. So
Yeah. 40
Yeah.
years of Edward.
yeah,
40.
You cannot
42 maybe.
you cannot overstate how important he was to the electric guitar.
no, absolutely.
And previous to him, yeah, I don't know who you pick out. Jimi Hendrix.
Jimmy,
You know,
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody in between
right?
No,
that
good
was
point.
that was
Very
anywhere
good
near as
point.
innovative as those two guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Or since. I mean, has anybody done anything
I like Joe Bonamassa.
as far as rock and roll guitars go?
Yeah,
Right.
different. Yeah, a little different. Yeah.
Oh, Bonamassa's he's great, but he's not reinventing anything.
No.
But he's
No.
very proficient. He's an
He's
excellent
continuing.
guitar
Yeah,
player.
it's continuing.
Oh, there's plenty of great guitar players.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but they're not taking it to the next level. Nobody
No.
don't know that it can be done at this point. You know,
Hopefully somebody does. I hope somebody
Yeah.
proves us wrong, right? And
right?
somebody does something just next level, like you
Right.
said.
Yep.
Takes it in a different direction.
Yeah. I don't know. Jerry,
Yeah,
you,
guys. Yeah.
you have anything you want to?
God bless you, Edward Van Halen, and all the joy you brought us three cats on this show. We're in our late 50s, and as you heard at the beginning of the show, you know, we were teenagers. We were just as green can be when this guy came on the radio.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Edward. God bless, and keep rocking, folks. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
I guess you nailed it right on the head. We were teenagers, and it was all brand new to us.
Yes.
We all heard Jimi Hendrix on the radio. We heard Jimmy Page playing rock and roll,
Yep.
and all the Black Dog and all that great hard rock
Yep.
and everything else. Michael Shankner and the great Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But another one, Yngwie.
I remember right where I was when I first heard it, guys.
Yeah.
I remember right where I was, who I was with, what car I was in, which way we were driving.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Right. It had that kind of an impact.
Yeah.
It did to me, fellas. It
Yeah.
did to me, fellas. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but let's charge up the old Bluetooth and play some Van Halen, folks.
Blast it, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't, like I said, I don't know that anybody else touched us the way,
I don't
when it
think
comes to
so.
rock and roll guitar that Eddie Van Halen did.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jim, do you have anything you want to say?
Well, the typical thing is, hey, our thoughts and prayers go out to, Eddie's family and his close friends or whatever. But I just scrolling through my Facebook, everybody's in mourning.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody, and
Everybody everywhere. Local
even-
news.
I'm in several punk rock groups, and they're all like, "Yeah, before I was into punk rock, this is the guy I was listening to,
Right.
man." And sad thing, he's gone. Everybody is just. It's been nonstop sadness for me as soon as I found out, because everybody's Instagram feed, everybody's Facebook feed is full of, memories of Eddie Van Halen or
Right.
favorite songs, or
Yeah.
in a way it's good because it's pulled everybody away from politics, but it's, it's a
Thank the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
sad
what's
thing
great,
to have to
guys?
think about.
I feel way better just having chatted with you cats, even though we're broadcasting. I was this close, guys, to say, I don't know. I got a lump in my throat. I feel weird.
Yeah,
I
you had
don't
asked
know.
about that.
Yeah. And Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Yeah, because we all experienced it together, folks. And yeah, thank you guys. I feel way better than I did when I started. Before the show, I was really like, I don't know, Jerry. Why do you feel so bad? Why do you don't know him. You didn't meet him.
But you know what?
It was weird. I'm glad we did the show.
Cindy and I were talking about that. He didn't know us, but we knew him, and that was the difference.
Yeah. Good job, Cindy. Perfect.
He was in our lives for an awful long time, and it was always a positive thing.
Yep.
It was always looking forward to the next Van Halen record.
Couldn't wait.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a positive thing, except for him marrying Valerie Bertinelli, because I just knew in my heart of hearts
that was your girl.
If she just knew me,
you had a shot.
Oh gosh!
But Jaime, you're only a bass player. She's going for the lead guitar.
I was like, no, Valerie, come on.
From one day at a time.
Yeah.
Get Mackenzie Phillips, Eddie. Get Mackenzie Phillips.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, other than that, I love you, Ed.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
I forgot that, Jim. Valerie Bertinelli. You asshole. But I forgot about that point of it, Jim. What? Leave her alone, you masher.
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of hearts broken on that day. So, oh well. Yeah. All right, Jim. If there's nothing else,
Shop is closed.